Proceed to do what we do at this stage every week. We're going to talk boxing. Simon's alongside me, of course. Spencer Oliver not with us at this stage. Spencer, good. We find up at Box Park at Wembley. Why is he up there? Because at Wembley this Saturday night, it's live on talkSPORT. The WBA World Title final eliminator fight between the numbers 1 and 2 world ranked heavyweights Joshua Buatsi and Dan Azeez go head to head at the OVO Arena at Wembley.
Joshua Buatsi, Dan Azeez will put friendship aside.
The only reason why I'd fight someone like Dan is if something's at stake. Whether he thinks he's a favourite or not, he's a favourite.
This is a true South London battle.
Lovely right hand, and it followed up, and that's good night.
Pressure fighter Azeez, and he really doesn't waste much.
He don't like pressure in itself.
Not like pressure.
That in
Olympic
itself.
Team, there's been pressure
No,
on
of course,
us.
no, but it doesn't mean that you like it.
It's a special fight between two of the most talented fighters that we have in this country.
It's actually less than 10 miles that separate Croydon and Lewisham.
I'm taking this fight as a challenge. You're taking it as the safer route.
As long as the referee lifts my hand up, it's that simple.
All happens on Saturday night. Joshua Buatsi against Dan Azeez, the best of friends, but not when they get in the ring together this Saturday night. Spencer joins us live from Box Park up at Wembley, and we'll be coming there live tomorrow morning from 10 to 1 on the show. Spence, good afternoon to you. Tell us about the running order of events up there.
Yeah, Jim, Simon, how are you both doing? Yeah, we're here at Box Park, and we've got the press conference starting at 1 p.m. Then Dan Azeez and Joshua Buatsi do a gloves are off live from 2 p.m. So all going on here. We've got a great undercard as well, as you know, on Saturday night. So, yep, things are going to start kicking off around 1.
They were very relaxed when they were in here last week with us. There was mutual respect, Spencer. There was even a handshake at the end of it all. How will it be today, do you think?
Well, Jim, now, you know, like the reality's now starting to kick in. You know, there is a lot on the line. As you say, you know, WBA number 1 and WBA number 2 in Buatsi and Azeez. And there's so much on the line. When there's a lot on the line, tensions start to rise. And we're starting to see that now. We was at the open workouts yesterday, and there was a little bit of needle between the two because obviously the winner goes on and he gets that shot for the world title and the loser has to rebuild and pick up the pieces. But, you know, we've got South London bragging rights on the line here as well. These guys, you know, live literally 10 miles apart, so it's all about legacies, and these are the fights you're remembered. And this, you know, these guys know that. Talking to them both, we're saying, listen, you both recognise where you come from, and in your area this is such a huge fight, and it's going to be a fight that you're both remembered for, and that puts added pressure to this as well.
Simon, you're going to go to it.
Absolutely.
Because as you always say, well, this one's a proper fight.
Yeah,
this is a proper fight.
This is a great division. It's a great division. We talk about Beterbiev, we talk about Bivol, we talk about Callum Smith, we talk about Anthony Yarde. These two guys are ranked 1 and 2 in the division in terms of one of the belt classes. And we often talk about the best fight and the best. British fights always catch a light. And I think this is going to be a great, great fight. And also the undercard. You know, you've got young Ben Whittaker, that's a star in many people's minds, waiting to happen. He's in the light heavyweight division. But Josh Buatsi versus Dan Azeez is going to be a proper fight.
Yeah. Last week when they were in here, Spencer, it was, as I say, very well mannered, and the two of them got on pretty well. But have a listen to this, Spence. Do you remember this moment when they clashed over the validity, if you like, of the Azeez injury, which led to the cancellation of the fight first time around?
Mainly because no one's actually directly come to me and said, oh, you know, something's off, or, you know, this injury's this, or it's not legitimate. Not up till to this day, no one directly, even Josh hasn't even directly said, do you know what I mean? It was just when... Say that again?
In what sense?
You've never actually said, Dan, I think your injury was... You
I'll
said...
tell you what I did. I even messaged them. I said, Dan, speedy recovery, hope everything's cool. That's initially. But of course, time ago, I'm thinking, right, was Dan injured? Was he not? Until now, sitting here, I didn't even know. He probably was. But I have no idea. But
this is what I'm saying.
Someone saying about it, wasn't it?
Yeah, no.
But initially, I definitely messaged him because first I heard of it. I said, right, is he injured? I hope he's not injured. Speedy recovery, yeah.
That was nice. And it was a legitimate injury.
Yeah, and do you know what it was? It was with... I think it's because Eddie was just playing that narrative, and because he's such a big figure in the sport, that's what was kind of peeing me off. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If whether Josh thought it was legitimate or it wasn't, the fact that, yeah, you know, he messaged me, he said, look, speedy recovery. That's the Josh I know, like, you know what I mean? Because I would expect that for the years we've known each other, you know, you're bottling it. Watch when we do get it on.
Rid of that one,
so do you know what I mean?
One more to go.
You were frustrated because what was being played out was a game between two promoters. wasn't it?
Exactly, and I'm in the midst of it, like, so I didn't really appreciate it, and especially the whole scenario, it kind of like, I guess I was a bit emotional, but now,
you came across well. You made your point.
I think you're right, Simon. I think Dan Azeez did come across well, and he was right to make his point.
Yeah, well, he's a smart kid, as he turned around and says, "I didn't need to go to boxing. I've got a degree. I've chosen to go to boxing," and he's gone the hard route, Spence, hasn't he? He's fought at area level. He's never had the sort of springboard that potentially Josh Buatsi's been afforded the opportunity to have. So it's a clash of different, almost classes in the boxing world, isn't it?
Absolutely. Listen, Joshua Buatsi, like you say, was the golden boy. He went to that 2016 Olympics. He picked up a bronze medal and big things were expected from him. He got that big contract from the big promoter. Whereas Dan Azeez, he went to every single promoter, asked them for a contract. They all turned him down. He had to box on the small halls, winning Southern areas, English, British, Commonwealth, European. He's done it the hard way, the old school way, but he sort of fed off that. He said, listen, I'm going to prove them wrong. And that's how he feels going into this contest. He said, look, Joshua Buatsi, you know that you're the favourite going into this one. And Josh Buatsi's a cool cat. He says, listen, I don't know that. He said, no, you do know that because we're from the same gym. We've sparred many times together. You've got the best of many of those sparring sessions. You know you're a big favourite. And he goes, going in, but I'm feeding off that. That's what gives me energy. I want to prove people wrong and I want to prove myself right. So, there's mind games been going on there, and we saw a little bit going back and forth when they were both in the studio, and I think Joshua Buatsi's a cool cat, and Dan Azeez has been trying to stoke the fire a little bit, trying to get it going. Like, you can see what they're both trying to do here and both trying to achieve, but it's a fascinating contest because they both had totally different journeys, but now they've got to the same spot, a number one and number two, and you're weighing it up going, I really don't know who's going to win this one. It's all about who handles the pressure best on the night, who turns up on the night, because if someone has a bad night, and that does happen with boxers, they can put in all the training and cover everything, leave no stone unturned, and on the night it just doesn't happen. If that happens to one of these two, they lose the fight. It's literally that close.
Spencer, we know Buatsi goes into this as favourite. So what's the Azeez game plan, do you think?
Listen, Azeez will take the fight straight to Joshua Buatsi. He's got to meet fire with fire. He's got to make Joshua Buatsi work when he doesn't want to work. But by doing that, it's got to be educated pressure. He can't go in there and be reckless because Buatsi's very heavy-handed. 20 fights, 20 wins, 13 of them by KO. And if he hits an opponent, they stay hit. So I think that for Dan Azeez, he's got to do what he does best, apply that pressure and just try and systematically take him into deep waters and wear him down. And that's where his chances. I think he's got to take the fight to him and roll the dice early, really, and take Buatsi out of his rhythm. As you say, Buatsi starts the favourite, but the closer we get into this fight, more people are starting to fancy Dan Azeez. It's going to be interesting to see them both here at the press conference today because that's when reality kicks in and both guys know that we're getting close. All the hard work's been done. If any of them have left any stone unturned, that will show up on Saturday night.
Simon touched on it, Spencer, but it's a more than decent undercard, isn't it?
Yeah, so listen, we've got a brilliant undercard as well. We've got Adam Azim versus Enoch Paulson. Enoch Paulson's a former European champion. He never lost his title in the ring. He was taken off him through injury, become vacant. Adam Azim's picked that up, so Enoch feels that he's got a point to prove here. He really fancies that. He's a decent fighter as well, so we're going to find out more about Adam Azim and where he's at. Is he the future of British boxing, or is it another guy that's on the bill as well, Ben Whittaker? 5 fights, 5 wins, 4 of those by KO. He's stepping up again here. He's boxing a guy that previously took Dan Azeez the distance, so he's going to try and make a statement and let people know that he's going to be the next light heavyweight everyone's talking about. The light heavyweight division right now is actually thriving. Like Simon said there, there's Anthony Yardy's in the mix as well. He's hovering around, and guess what? Ben Whittaker, he wants to be in that mix in 12 months as well, so he's going to go out there. He's going to try and showcase some skills. Caroline Dubois spending defending her IBO title as well. She's in a good fight against Miranda Reyes, and she's in form as well. Reyes, she's beat 2 former world champions in her last 2 fights, and she's here to upset the apple cart as well. But you know what? Caroline Dubois says, I want those big fights. I want the Katie Taylors. I want the Chantel Camerons, and I'm going to put on a show Saturday night. So yeah, what a card we've got here. And guys, you can catch it all live on talkSPORT 2 from 7 p.m. Then you switch over to talkSPORT's main channel at 9 p.m. for all the live action. We've got a great night of fighting.